So what really separates the rich from the poor? In this video, I reveal 5 key psychological differences. If you want to enjoy more financial success, you're going to want to stick around to hear all 5. Coming up. Hey, I'm Dr. Brad Klontz. On this channel, we help you transform your relationship with money, master the psychology of wealth, and live a life of abundance. So if you're new here, please subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss anything. So a huge part of my work as a financial psychologist and as a professor has been my research on the psychology of wealth. But look, I didn't grow up wealthy. In fact, quite the opposite. But early in my life, I began to notice that richer people seem to have a very different experience in the world than poorer people. It looked to me, from the outside, that it was much, much better to have money than to not have money. Nicer car, bigger house, more opportunities, of course! But I also became very interested in how they became wealthy to begin with. How do they think differently? What are their beliefs about money? What are they doing differently that is giving them the financial leg up? So what do you think are some of the ways that rich people think differently than poorer people? Let me know in the comments below. So I've conducted over a dozen studies asking these questions, and I'm excited to share 5 key psychological differences we have found between the rich and the poor. Differences that really separate the rich from the poor. Difference number 1, a win-win versus win-lose philosophy. Poor thinking is all about scarcity. Poor people don't have enough. This is for real. Most poor people were born into their poor situations. Situations that teach them everything about how to best handle being poor. Poor people are very aware that there are rich people and that they aren't one of them. In this way, they see a very clear win-lose world, and they're the losers. So when a poor person wants to make money or starts making money, they can remain stuck in a win-lose mindset. Now, this can totally sabotage their success. At worst, this can lead to them taking advantage of others, robbing them, or cheating them. Unfortunately, this is all too common, and of course, it always backfires eventually. So don't do that. Less dramatic, but self-destructive nonetheless, is that they may feel guilty about making money, even when they're providing a great product or service that's worth every penny. Poor thinking tells them that if they're making money, then someone else is losing money. Win-lose. But that's not how rich people think. Wealthy people live in a win-win world. They have no problem selling. No shame at all. They see business as a win-win game. They think, sure, I make money, lots of money hopefully, but I do it by providing a valuable product or service. By the way, wealthy people who don't live in a win-win philosophy end up not being wealthy for long, and they are quite miserable people actually. When a poor person wants to become wealthy, many carry their scarcity mindset with them. The problem is, this mindset scares money away. Wealthy people have an abundance mindset, or at least that's the goal. There's enough, so they approach people, relationships, situations, and business deals with a win-win attitude, which is great. And people want to do business with them, and people want to give them money. It's an amazing thing. Difference number 2, openness versus closed-mindedness. Openness to experience is another psychological factor that separates the rich from the poor, one that has been researched extensively. Wealthy people are much more likely to be open to new experiences. This means that they're more likely to be intellectually curious, creative, and open-minded. They pay attention to their feelings. They like variety in their lives, and they have an appreciation, a deep appreciation for beauty. They enjoy venturing outside of their comfort zone. Closed-mindedness is associated with less money. When we're closed to new experiences and new ideas, we prefer predictability, routines, and structure, and we tend to not be that creative. This can be a remnant of a scarcity mindset, fear-based thinking, worried that if we step out of line, we'll get punished for it. So if you want to join the ranks of the wealthy, you'll need to expand your comfort zone and become more open-minded. So be willing to challenge what you think you know to be true. Have the courage to not be so sure of your version of reality, especially if you're committed to creating a new version of reality for yourself and for your family. Difference number 3, process versus outcome. Another thing that separates the rich from the poor is that the wealthy focus on process while the poor focus on outcome. Financial success is not about driving a fancy sports car. If a wealthy person came into a chunk of money, they'd be much more likely to invest that money into a business venture, education, or a process to improve their business. Poor thinking would encourage that person to spend that money on something that made them look and feel rich. Expensive meals, designer shoes, a nice car, or a fancy vacation. They focus on the perceived outcome of wealth versus investing in processes and strategies to grow their wealth. So focus on the process of wealth and not the outcome. Difference number 4, hard knowledge versus easy money. This one's pretty simple. Wealthy people seek knowledge from other people. They ask for advice. They read books. They go to seminars. They buy online courses. They know that knowledge is everything. If you ask them if they wanted $25 or a book that could make them hundreds, they would take the book every time. The poor mindset, in contrast, always goes for the easy money. They'll take the money and buy something of fleeting value versus investing that money into knowledge that could actually move them in the right direction. So invest in knowledge, not the quick payout. Difference number 5, vigilance versus avoidance. A huge difference between the rich and the poor involves vigilance. In all of our studies, people who are vigilant about their money have more. The vigilant are much more worried about saving money and having enough for the future than they are about wanting to spend it on something to raise their status or make them happy in the moment. Psst, come here. A secret to becoming wealthy is saving. Poor people try not to think about their money. Of course not. It's stressful. It's easy to want to avoid. But if you want to become wealthy, you need to pay attention and you need to ask for help. You need to commit to setting aside a portion of every dollar you make, money to be invested in your future, not spent today. So it pays to be vigilant. Question: what's one thing you can do differently now based on these 5 psychological differences that separate the rich from the poor? Take a moment and write it down. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, please subscribe. And make sure to check out the video description below for links and resources. I'll see you next time.